My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the Arch-Villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and subscribe star pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. My friends, the bad news for Hollywood just keeps getting worse. Last week at the box office was the worst of 2025 and just plain bad for any month you'd care to name. This past Monday found a new box office champion for the weekend, an action comedy called Novocaine, starring Jack Quaid as a man who can't feel pain, fighting to get back his kidnapped girlfriend. And this is terrible news for Hollywood. Why, you ask? Because Novocaine was the #1 grossing movie that past weekend, and that movie brought in $8.7 billion.
Excuse me? I don't think I heard that correctly. Did you say it was the #1 movie in America with a gross of $8.7 million?
You heard me correctly, Harvey Cthulhu. Yes, indeed, no other movie this past weekend was able to gross the princely sum of $8.7 million. And that news is so appalling, so awful, so unspinnable in every way. Hollywood must be trembling in their boots, making duty in their dighties as they scrutinize the spreadsheets in despair. Think about it, my friends, about what this means. Every other release this past weekend made less than $8.7 million. And we're talking about 5 new nationwide releases, one of them a venerable beloved franchise, and one of them a major well-reviewed spy thriller. Everything bombed this past week, everything, all at once, everywhere, forcing one to wonder, is this evidence of a larger trend? Has Hollywood been damaged by years of shitty remakes, shoddy reboots, and woke wankery? Or is this simply an anomaly? Enter Snow White, the drab, dreary, despicable remake of the animated classic. Oh, just in time, A New Hope, eh? Box office estimates for this critical failure have been dropping fast as bad reviews flood in, dropping like a stone encased in cement, ejected from a plane and ridden down to earth by Lizzo, doing an impression of Slim Pickens.
That's a hell of a drop, dude. And there's an asteroid-level impact. Beware, Hollywood. Incoming.
Actually, for Hollywood, it's more like outgoing, as in money's going out, but it's not coming in. Now, while it's too soon to know what Snow Woke's final box office outcome is going to be, we do have some numbers for yesterday's preview release on Thursday, and those numbers are really bad. According to estimates in Deadline, Snow White only brought in $3.5 million in Thursday previews. Now, you may ask, is that good? And while the answer is not entirely clear, I suspect this news is dire for Disney, given how other movies have performed on Thursday previews. The Marvels, which was absolutely a box office bomb and the worst performing Marvel movie in history, made $6.6 million during Thursday previews, almost double what Snow Woke made. And there's just no way that can be good news.
The Marvels, being the biggest bomb in MCU history, made almost double what Snow White made on Thursday. That seems to be Hindenburg-level bad news right there, Doomcock. Disney may need to rent out some space in Cinderella's castle to make ends meet.
Woe be unto Disney if this Thursday box office is a portent of things to come. Mufasa, the Lion King, opened with a $3.3 million Thursday box office, and its opening weekend was a measly $35.4 million, which kind of casts doubt on lowered box office estimates for Snow White, dipping down now to $45 million. Looking at all the empty seats in theaters this weekend, I think that $45 million may be optimistic. This is not only bad news for Disney, this is bad news for Hollywood at a time when bad news is rampant, as people are staying away from theaters in droves. Let's look at the disturbing facts. Variety broke down the bad news in an article titled, "Box Office, Jack Quaid's Novocaine leads painfully slow weekend with $8.7 million debut." And in that article they write, quote, "Jack Quaid's action comedy Novocaine topped a painfully slow weekend at the box office with $8.7 million. For theater owners, however, there's not too much to celebrate. It's one of the worst debuts to still capture the #1 spot, at least since the pandemic ground moviegoing to a halt. Despite 5 new nationwide releases, this weekend was among the year's lowest grossing to date, with $52 million across all films, according to ComScore," unquote.
So this past weekend, the entirety of Hollywood's output in all the theaters across this great land generated only $52 million. A major motion picture these days that brings in $52 million is generally regarded as a failure, and yet this was the sum of all the box office takes this past weekend.
Well, bear in mind, O Skull of Calderon, that there are some weeks when there are no new releases. So on weeks like that, you might see results similar to this. And yet Variety points out a few facts about how bad this really is. Quote, "Even the Super Bowl frame, known to lead multiplexes barren, was bigger, with $54 million in February. The year's sluggish first quarter has been another blow to the badly bruised movie theater business, which is banking on 2025 to revise the business after COVID and Hollywood's labor strikes. If that's the case, there's no time like the present. Year-to-date revenues are 5% behind 2024 and nearly 38% behind 2019, according to ComScore," unquote. The good news for Novocaine is the movie's budget was a very frugal $18 million, so the movie isn't doing too badly, but that's besides the point. The larger concern is Hollywood's inability to put paying asses in seats. People have gotten out of the movie-going habit thanks to COVID, and many shitty disappointments, remakes, and reboots haven't been enough to entice audiences to return to theaters. And Snow White is just going to make things worse. Substandard shit like this is conditioning audiences long-term to stay home. Every time a viewer takes the trouble to go out into a theater, only to be bored out of their minds or angered by the shoddy crap being thrown into their faces, they get negative reinforcement to visit theaters. Over time, they figure why bother and just plain stop. Why not just wait till it comes on streaming somewhere? It'll happen sooner or later, generally sooner these days. At least that way, when it's on streaming, you can fast forward through the worst parts or just switch to something else once you realize it sucks. Whereas in a theater, when you know a movie sucks, all you can do is take the march of shame, walk out early, and feel like a chump for getting suckered into buying another shitty movie as you drive all the way home. That's Hollywood's conundrum at this point, because every box office bomb just makes things worse for the entire showbiz ecosystem. This past weekend marked the 5th week in theaters for Captain America: Brave New World, and I believe that's pretty much a wrap for any hopes this movie might rally. As it stands, quote, "Disney's Marvel sequel, Captain America: Brave New World, landed in 4th place with $5.2 million in its 5th weekend on the big screen. The superhero adventure starring Anthony Mackie has earned $185 million domestically and $388.6 million worldwide, which is enough to rank as the biggest Hollywood release of the year, but isn't nearly enough to offset its massive $180 million price tag. As Captain America: Brave New World nears the end of its theatrical run, the comic book tentpole is running out of steam as one of the lowest grossing Marvel movies of all time. Above the flat-out disasters of 2023's The Marvels, $207 million, and 2011's The Incredible Hulk, $264 million, but in the realm of disappointments like 2021's Eternals, $402 million, and 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, $476 million, unquote. So there you have it, my friends. After this past weekend's awful box office, sinking Hollywood needed a life jacket, but it looks like Snow White is throwing it an anvil. We'll see come Monday how bad the damage is, but until then, my friends, stay angry.